Yes, sir.
How was your day?
Sir, it was fine. It was a bit hectic.
Okay, so can you give me a brief introduction about yourself? Do not talk about your academic journey. I just want to know about you.
Yes, sir. Sir, my name is. I hail from Rajasthan, Sri Ganganagar. I come from a joint family, and I had studied in Birla Public School, Ganganagar, and I feel that's all.
That's it.
Yes, sir. Sir, do I need to also tell you about the hobbies?
Um, okay, sure.
So my hobbies are watching movies. I am also interested in watching real life cave tragedies because it particularly shows my interest in psychology. Personally, it intersection with human behavior in the very difficult situations, and I also love hearing songs whenever I am in a stressful situations, and I go for mindful walks whenever I am stressed or whenever I am overthinking about something.
Okay, so you said that you are interested in psychology. Have you
Yes.
read any book regarding psychology?
No, sir, I haven't read, but I had psychology along with humanities in class 11th and
No,
12th.
I mean, like, are you an avid reader?
I'm not.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine.
But I do read on Wattpad. Does that count?
Um, Not really.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so you are from Ganganagar.
Sri Ganganagar, Rajasthan.
Okay, Sri Ganganagar, Rajasthan. Can you tell me about your city?
Yes, sir. So Sri Ganganagar is near to Punjab as well as to Pakistan, and it's a city famous for oranges, basically known as kinnus, and it is the food basket of Rajasthan. It also has Indira Gandhi Canal, which was started in year 1949. And yes, sir.
And what is your favorite place which you usually go to in your city?
So as such, there's no favorite place, but I would say Riddhi Siddhi.
What is it?
It's a kind of posh area which have a lot of malls, a lot of facilities like gaming pools and very places which also includes the games, playing areas, the music area, and food courts. So yeah,
Okay,
it's my favorite.
fine.
Yeah.
So let me brief you about the interview process.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Firstly, I'll show you an essay, a short paragraph, and you'll
Yes,
have
sir.
2 minutes to read that paragraph, and then I'll ask a few questions regarding that paragraph. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And later on, I'll give you a topic. You have 3 minutes to write down an essay on that particular topic, and then you'll dictate it to me. I would
Okay.
prefer not to use a pen and paper and just start thinking and directly dictating the essay. But it is up to you if you want to use a pen and a paper.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
So right now I am gonna display the page. Just read the selected portion.
Okay, sir. Sir, I have, sir, I have done.
Okay.
I'm done reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could you tell me the summary of this particular text?
Yes, sir. So it is talking about the citizenship. So, like the anthropologists. Anthropologists are the people who who study about
I'm not asking
humans.
about anthropologist. I'm asking about the passage.
Yeah.
Stick to the
Yes, sir.
passage.
So anthropologists have studied that during the last 10 decades, citizenship has not been just a formal thing. It also includes many social, political, and economic factors. And being a citizen, you are given a lot of benefits, even though it is not talking about the benefits, but it is just stating in the definition. Whenever a person is a citizen, he or she is given the medical or healthcare or any type of rights which a citizen is given. And after that, he or she is anthropologists are saying that they are conveying that the other people who are the immigrants, migrants, or the persons who are coming from one place to another or are staying out of any problems which they are facing in their own country, they are seen not as a citizen but as another person, and are not given those benefits which a person should be given, even though we talk about human rights.
Okay. And the passage talk about the grounds of denial of a citizenship claims. What were it?
So can you just repeat?
The passage talked about the grounds of denial of citizenship claims. What were it?
Uh, yes, sir. So basically, it is Basically, it is asking or is telling us about how a person is becoming a citizen, or how a person is called a citizen of another or particular
Here were
state. Or
the passage actually specified the grounds of denial of citizenship claim.
so yeah, so the grounds of denial are basically when a person is a migrant or is not born in the same place, as per my knowledge.
Okay,
Yeah.
and um, and what does a formal citizenship offer?
So, formal citizenship status offers a person such as socio-economic rights and political rights, like right to give vote, right to freedom of speech and expression, and also the land rights, acquiring a property, moving freely in the property, giving vote, and other rights. Yeah.
Okay, was it present in the passage, or you are implying your external knowledge?
I am implying my own external knowledge. A bit
Okay,
was present, but not everything which I told.
or all right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what do you infer from this whole paragraph? If I have to ask, okay, let's suppose I have not read this paragraph and you want me to tell something about this paragraph, what would you teach me?
So, uh, in my opinion, I would teach you that citizenship, to be a citizen of a country, there are certain rules that one needs to follow, that are sometimes or maybe also inherited. And immigrants and other people, even though on documents, they are not considered the immigrant or citizenship of a particular country until unless some certain type of work is done. And also that a person gets different rights, like socio-economic and political rights. This is what I would tell you in very simple words.
Okay. Fair enough,
Yeah,
fair enough.
that's it.
Okay. So you have had political science in your class 12th, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before that, can you please tell me about your academic background now? Like your extracurricular activities, your academic activities, etc., etc.
Yes, sir. So basically, I had humanities along with psychology in class 12th. I had also been given the merit scholarships in both class 10th and 11th, and I was also recognized among the top five merit holders of my school. Apart from this, and along with this, I had also been participating and winning many of the judo and karate championships at many district, national, and all India championship level. Apart from this, I have also been given the opportunity to chair many of the MUNs in my own school. And at last but not least, I am a bit fond of playing games, and also I am into psychology of understanding human behaviors in very different and thriller type of events.
Okay. What
Yes.
is one thing which you would tell me that you have understood about the psychology of human brain?
So that human behavior is never certain, and
I
it
know this.
it
I
it
want to know
varies.
something new. I want to know something new, which I have not read. I did not have psychology. I have never studied psychology, but everyone knows human mind is uncertain,
Yes, sir.
right?
Sir, I am not able to recollect my
That's
thoughts
completely
in
fine.
this
Okay,
present moment.
leave it. So yeah, you said that you have also uh, uh, taken part in the national level judo karate championship. Okay, can you tell me about that?
Yes, sir. Sir, so it was a whole different experience for me, because at first place I was not very much interested in playing games,
What was the name
but
of the
from class,
competition?
sir, it was Pi in Olympics karate championships. I do even have the certificates.
Pine what?
Pi in Olympic Championships. PIE, Pi
What is
in
it?
sir, it's basically it is organized by Patrika newspaper, which was hosted on a national level in India, and they hosted a karate championship in Rajasthan only.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, yeah, you have had political science in your class 12th and
Yes,
11th
sir.
as well. So
Yes,
you
sir.
must have read your class 11th and 12th books well, because I can see your score, because you have scored 94 in your in your political science. So could you
Yes,
please
sir.
tell me, what do you know about writs?
Yes, sir. So writs are basically the rights or the privileges given by the Constitution of India to us, that whenever our any right is infringed or fundamental rights are violated, we can go to Supreme Court under Article 32, which is constitutional remedies, and we can go to a High Court under Article 226 to get the remedies of the rights which are violated.
What was the article for the Supreme Court,
So Article 226,
and for the High Court?
Article 32, which is constitutional remedies.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what are the types of writs?
So there are total five types of writs, which are: first one is habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, prohibition, and so one more, but I'm not able to recall it
Okay. Can you
at
tell
this
me about
moment.
the four which you can recall?
Yes, sir. So the first one is habeas corpus, which is bring the body in 24 hours. So whenever a person is arrested, he or she has to be represented or to be provided in the court or
Before the
in front
magistrate.
of before the magistrate in 24 hours of
Okay.
being arrested. And the second is prohibition. So prohibition is basically, it says that a case which is given to high court cannot be transferred to a lower court, or which case which is out of the boundary, or basically the sir, I'm not able to use the exact words, a
Yeah.
case which
Go on.
is are not in the area of that court cannot be provided in another court. Sir, I'm not able to say
Okay.
it properly.
Next. Keep going.
Another is mandamus. Mandamus is like a person who is holding the office. He or she has to justify that why they are holding the office and what is their duty. Sir, I'm really
Yeah.
short of words. I'm not able to.
Next.
And next is certiorari, which is that certification of everything has to be given.
Okay.
Everything has to be justified. Yeah.
Okay. And you cannot recall the last one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's fine. You also said that you have chaired a few MUNs at your school. Okay. So you must be very fond of geopolitics as well.
No, sir, I'm not. But I was given the chance, the opportunity to chair, but I am not fond of geopolitics.
Okay.
Even though I have a bit information of the things going on in the world, but I'm not fond of geopolitics
Okay. What
at
is
all.
the most recent happening in the world right now, which happened today only? Today or maybe yesterday?
So,
It's something related to Indian economy.
uh, Indian economy, sir, I'm not aware about it, but I'm not aware about it, sir. But I look up to it after the interview.
Okay. So you read newspaper daily?
So, I was reading newspaper daily, but due to the interview which I had to give to go to Bangalore, I was not able to give the. I was not able to read the newspaper, and they're also lying behind. I have to read a lot of newspapers.
Uh, why did you why did you go to Bangalore?
So, because I had to give an interview for Christ University, Bangalore.
Okay. What are the colleges you have applied for?
So I had applied to Christ University, Bangalore. I had also applied to Jindal Global Law School, and today I am giving the interview for
Did
this
you
law
also
school.
appear for CLAT?
Yes, sir. I did appear for CLAT.
What's the status of current CLAT counseling?
So my CLAT score was not at all good, so I was not being selected for the counseling process.
That's fine. That's fine. So, what is currently happening in the Indian Parliament?
Yes, sir. So in Indian Parliament, the current discussion in the Indian Parliament is about the women reservation, and they are linking the women reservation with the delimitation process. And there's an article also of 16 April that we need to delink delimitation with women's reservation in the Parliament, which is
Why?
33%. So because sir, can I just explain delimitation?
Okay.
So delimitation basically means, so like if I have 10 people in A state and 2 people in B state, so out of 10 people, maximum people will be selected from A state because they have more people and maximum representation. And B state only has 2 people, so only one person or less people will be selected because they have less population. So delimitation is this selecting and representation on the basis of the population, whereas women representation is the woman, we can say another form of women empowerment and women voice in parliament, which is 1/3 or 33% out of 100%.
What is the name of the Women's Reservation Bill and what's the number of the amendment?
So Amendment 131, the Nari Shakti Adhiniyam Bill.
Okay. Okay. Are you sure that the amendment is 131?
No, sir, I feel it's 106.
Are you sure it is 106?
So because I was seeing a video, and I noticed that the person was saying 131st Amendment, but I am sure that 106 Amendment is the answer. I'm sure.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Who is your favorite politician? Because you are gonna be a law student, I believe so, and lawmaking is a very integral part of of parliament. So you
Yes,
must
sir.
be well versed with the political situation and other related to politics. So I just want to know your opinion. There must be some politicians which you follow because I believe you are 18, right?
Yes, sir.
You are 18, right?
Yes, sir. I
So
am
sooner or
18.
later you have to cast your first vote. And as a concerned citizen, you must be casting your vote. You must not let it go through.
Yes, sir. So,
So
but I would prefer giving vote to the Nota, which is none of the above.
why?
So, because
Because
I
at the end
feel
of the day, even if Nota wins, then the candidate who has secured the most vote is going to be the ruler ultimately. So there is
yes,
that makes no sense for voting for the Nota option. So can you please tell me if there must be any political leader? I'm not judging you based on your likings. Okay, I just want to know which political leader do you follow?
so at first place, I follow no political leader, but if I had no chance, I would select Rahul Gandhi
Okay,
and
why?
Raghav Chadda.
Okay, why?
So, because first of all, Rahul Gandhi is a very educated person and he talks on a very ground level.
Hmm.
He is not into, I feel personally, in my opinion, he is not into a religious race, not getting his votes on the basis of religion and not dividing people on the basis of religion, because we are a lot of up to religion nowadays. And secondly, Raghav Chadda, the same thing, he talks on very basic and very ground level things like the issues of washrooms, the electricity issues, the food habits, and yes, sir.
Okay, what happened with Raghav Chadda recently?
Sir, I'm not aware about it, but I'll look up to it after
He's
the
one of your
interview.
favorite politician, na?
Sir, he's not my favorite politician, but
Okay, he is one of the politicians which you follow.
yes, sir.
Okay, leave it. So let's move forward to the next phase of the interview, which is
Yes,
the
sir.
essay writing. I'm gonna
Yes, sir.
provide you with the topic, and you have 3 minutes to think about it. Okay,
Yes, sir.
it's up to you. You want to write or you want to directly dictate. So the question
Yes,
is, what is the impact on the employment situation in India due to the artificial intelligence? This is a question. So you have 3 minutes.
um,
Impact of AI on employment in India.
So, in my opinion, I feel artificial intelligence in itself is very neutral. It's neither bad and nor it's very good. It depends on the user and their intention to use it. And I feel artificial intelligence in itself will not replace any human, but a human who knows how to use it for their own benefits, ethically, morally, would replace others, which also affects the employment rate and the employment. And I feel it's a tool. If we will not control it, it will control us. At first place, at if we see it at the one hand, I feel AI can provide many opportunities. Like it can assist even in legal professions, for research, for draftings, and for case laws, and for many other things. And it can also increase our efficiency. It can also provide us a lot of information in very less time. It can give many jobs to many people in a very less time, because if we see on Instagrams, the content creators, they are generating AI videos and they are earning in lakhs. That is one of the options. But if it is not used very wisely, not beneficially, and not ethically, it can also lead to many problems such as deep fakes, cyber crimes, cyber frauds. And at the other hand, if we feel and if we think AI is also replacing some people, like there was a job there was a job before 2000, that of the sir, I'm really sorry, I'm just
Yeah, take
stuttering
your
a
time.
lot.
Take your time.
So there was a job. So like the very common word is e-mitra. So people used to go there and search there. But nowadays everyone has AI on their phones. They are able to doing a lot of work. They are able to do a lot of work on their own, which is also a very good thing, because people are getting themselves self-employed by the use of AI. They are generating and they even are giving a lot of people job. But at the other hand, it is also replacing some jobs. There was a topic on medical being related with AI. So I feel nowadays people are even asking AI for their very minor injuries, but they are not going to doctors, which can also be harmful, because I feel that AI is somewhere maybe 0.001% biased towards something. And yes, sir, that's all.
Okay, so you were saying that people should not be totally rely on the AI
Yes,
tools
sir.
for the medical
But
diagnosis.
yes, sir.
Okay,
But at least
but
they should use it ethically and morally for their own
okay,
benefit
so
and not
answer
to
me one
harm
thing.
others.
There are these AI tools like Madhunetra AI and Nidan, which are used for the X-ray of the tuberculosis using the lidar sensor, which are being provided in the iPhones right now. And as well,
Yes.
the Madhunetra AI software basically gives you a sort of psychometric test which you have to answer it honestly, and then it sort of tells you that whether you have diabetes or not. So, do you think whose negligence who has the if some wrong thing happens later on, then the negligence has been conducted from which party? Is it the one who is relying on that particular interface? Is it the government who is allowing that interface to get interacted with people, or it is the company which is creating it?
So in my opinion, and as per my current knowledge, I feel AI would not be held liable at the stage,
Hmm.
at the present stage, because our Indian law does not count AI or IT as a legal person.
Hmm.
Maybe in some time, or maybe in spite of AI, instead of AI, the company could be held liable, because the company stands as a legal person, the person who is authorizing, or the person who is guiding, or directing the AI, or who is making. But they still has to be held liable. They are not properly held liable, because there are not as such clauses in law of or related to internet or AI. Yes, sir.
Okay, and you have also said that AI won't be replacing the human jobs, especially in legal
Yes.
field. You said, and you even claim that it is going to introduce new jobs. So, could you
Yes,
please
sir.
tell me if we are living in a capitalist world, and if I am, let's say, I'm an owner of a law firm, and I have this
Yes, sir.
option to fire a few paralegals, which are costing me my company has two paralegals, my law firm has two
Yes, sir.
paralegals, and I'm paying them a lakh rupees per month. So
Yes, sir.
if I have an option to replace that 1 lakh rupee human asset from a 2000 rupee per month AI
Yes,
tool,
sir.
which is doing my research and drafting work, so don't you think it would be a wiser decision? And therefore, it is also reducing employment. But you claim that it is going to increase the employment in legal as well as other sectors. So how are you going to defend this statement of yours? Keeping
So
in
first
mind
of all,
that in India, we are moving towards rapid privatization and capitalization. Even the whole world is moving towards capitalization.
I feel even though selecting a AI, but mm, AI would not be providing such integrity which a human can provide, because at the end AI is a machine. It has no emotions. It will never work with the emotions. And since I also said that AI, even though at 0.001% is biased at some point, and to some person and to some extent. So I feel, as I said, AI will never replace a human. Never. Again, I said never replace a human, but a human who knows how to use AI beneficially for themselves, ethically and morally, will replace those who don't.
What do you mean by using it ethically and morally?
So ethically and morally means not using it for or not using it for harming others and for doing cyber crimes or cyber frauds. Because there was a scene. It is a very funny incident. A person made Instagram ID of a girl which was AI generated, but the person who are not up to par to today's technology didn't know that it's AI, and he or she was asking money and they were also giving money. So it is a type of
Okay.
cyber fraud.
That's what-
Yeah.
Okay. And
So this is a bad use of AI, which should not be done.
okay. Can you tell me three top AI tools which are trending in current market?
So with AI, you mean the name of the AIs?
Yeah, the name of the
Yeah.
AI tool right now, which people use in
Sir,
day-to-day life.
first is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Second would be Gemini, and nowadays Claude AI.
Do you use any of these three?
I use, yes sir, I use ChatGPT, Gemini, and I used Claude because my
Do
teacher
you think
suggested me to
using
use it.
Do you think using AI is hindering your critical thinking ability?
No sir, I don't
You
think,
have to
because
answer it with respect to psychology.
okay, sir, I feel no AI is not hindering in my critical thinking, because I am using it to refine my statements, but not to create my statements. I am creating and using my own knowledge, but I am using AI just to refine it and to give me best possible answers of my own knowledge, which I provide him or her, whatever we can define AI with whatever.
There was okay, well said. Recently, there was a judgment by the Honorable Supreme Court regarding the right to die, and
Yes,
there
sir.
was also a little controversy regarding it. Do you know anything about it?
Yes, sir.
All
Sir,
if you do, then I would be more than happy to know the name of the case as well.
sir, I was aware of I was aware of the name of the case, but I am not able to recall it. But it's related to Harish Rana, who got into vegetative state, persistent vegetative state, and his family took this decision to end his life by mercy killing, and he was given passive euthanasia. So it was the first applied case of passive euthanasia in India. So passive euthanasia basically means withdrawing and withholding medical treatments, which can be any medicine or any life supporting system such as ventilators.
Okay.
And earlier it was said that right to life does not mean right to die, but now it is legally said that right to die with dignity is defined in our constitution.
It is defined in our constitution, right to die with
No,
dignity.
no, no, it is not defined in our constitution, but it is given in a legal case, which was recently
So it
filed.
is not defined in our constitution.
No, sir. It is not written in our constitution.
All right, all right. So, what are your future plans? Why do you want to do law?
Sir, because in my opinion, law is not just a career for me. It is a way, I feel it is a way, it can be and it will be a way for me to make more connections. It will also be a way for me to stand up for myself and for the people. And I also had an idea uh, just a bean ago that I would like to set up a law legal firm of my own where I would be giving jobs to orphans, transgender community, and women. And I feel financial independency at a very young age is very important. Even for children who are below 18 years of age, I would also be including those students or teenagers, also to give them experience. And my second goal for my future would be that recently I also have an inclination toward judiciary, the
Okay.
justice system. Yes, sir.
Aren't these two statements quite contradictory? Because at one place you want to start your own law firm, and at second place you are, deflecting from this your idea of law firm and want and inclined towards judiciary.
So I have decided this. So my law school will finish or end at when I'll be of 23 or 24 years. So I'll set up my law firm. I'll do the 3 year practice. So setting up law firm will also give me the 3 year practice, which will satisfy the 3 year practice rule. So for from 23, 24, 24 to 30 years, I'll set up a law firm, and after that I know I'll be a very successful person. And after that I'll give my partnership, my law firm partnership, to another person, from to an orphan or from a transgender community or the person whom I'll be giving the job. And after that I'll start preparing for judiciary exam, because I'll be of 30 and I'll have the time for 35 till
So
35 years
basically,
of
you
age.
want to get your hands into judiciary, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And you have just said that you want to provide the people who are actually of the inferior background in the society. You
Yes, sir.
want to uplift
Yes.
them by through your law firm. But are you a first generation lawyer?
Yeah, sir, it's a very complicated because my father has done law, but he does not practice.
Okay,
He just studied law just to gain the knowledge. He just wanted to know his own rights.
okay. So as a I'll consider you as first generation lawyer only. So
Yes, sir.
as a first generation lawyer, where you do not have much connections in the industry, and a law is such field that which requires time to establish a practice.
Yes,
How are
sir.
you so sure that within 3 years you will be able to get your hands on in the litigation, as well as you'll also be able to switch from litigation into judiciary?
Sir, this opportunity, I feel I'll gain this opportunity in BITS Law School itself, because I'll be doing a lot of internships. I'll be making my connections from that time only. I'll also do internships in corporate firms, in law firms, and also in courts. I'll also work at ground level. I'll also work in NGOs. So ultimately, it would build my connections. And I am also planning to give the sir, I'm not able to recall, but it's basically it's a contract of 1 year where a student is selected in its final in her his or her final year only, and they are given a pay of 1 lakh. I am not into money, but they have a direct connection to Supreme Court judges.
It's a judicial law clerk.
So Supreme Court law clerk. Yeah. So I'll
It,
also be applying for that. So
it's not for
ultimately,
the
it
final
will
year.
strengthen.
It's not for the final year law students. It's after you have completed your graduation. Okay, it's not
Okay,
for the
sir.
final year
Thank you
law.
for correcting me.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me.
And
So yes.
my last question would be, why do you want to join BITS Law?
Sir, because I feel BITS Law School would not only offer me a law degree, but also would shape me into a very confident and a professional person law as a career needs and I would need. And also, it's a premier institute which is offering BLLB honors and BBLLB honors, and plus it's established in the Mumbai, which is the economic capital of India. So it would give me a lot of opportunities. Its AI tech facilities also, it also has a lot of strong emphasis on AI ethics, and it is also upcoming with new laws such as technology law, and its multidisciplinary legal background and the holistic approach would help me a lot. And I am a person who feels that a difficult thing would not be a restraint in my career, but would be an opportunity for me to grow into a very good and a professional person. So it would also provide me a very good stage. So it is the and I and there's a saying of for the BITS Law School, which is state and university of the art in law.
So you mean that the other NLUs are not state of the art in legal education?
Sir, I would not. I would. BITS Law School has its own place. It's
Okay.
one of the best and premier institution in India,
Okay.
and in its own state cannot be comparable to another institutions.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
My last question would be, my second last question would be, who is a senior advocate?
Sir,
It's fine if you don't know
senior,
it.
sir, I can try giving the answer. So, a senior advocate, in my knowledge, is the person who has practiced for 7 or 10 years,
Okay.
more than 7 or 10 years.
All right. And my last question would be, um, of course, you have applied for BITS Law School. You have cleared the rest assessment test as well, and now you're appearing for the interview.
Yes, sir.
So, while applying for the BITS Law School or while getting to know about the BITS Law School, you also came across the logo of the BITS Law School. So, which animal or bird or insect's logo is embodied on the what is the logo of BITS Law School?
Mm, Sir, I'm really sorry. I haven't seen the logo,
All right,
but
so
I'll see.
that was it. Do you have any
Yes,
questions
sir.
for me?
Mm, yes, sir, I do have a lot of questions, but I'll first have to recall them. Just a second, sir.
Take your time.
So,